Tape Studios. Let's f***ing go.
Yeah, it is the Thursday edition of LFG. No Jim Kozimor today. Koz has some family obligations, so he'll be out. So myself, Matt Fowler, and the fantastic Bisa, who will make an appearance on the show a little bit later when we open our mailbag. It is Thursday. Thursday is the day that we go into our mailbag, which may be my favorite segment now of the show. Happy to have you aboard. Matt Fowler in the best mood I've ever seen him in his entire life.
That's great. That's phenomenal. You know what? You can't get me in a bad mood today because we got Drew Goldfarb coming on to talk about gambling later. I am pumped about that.
And to talk about hockey, Drew is a huge hockey fan. Koz is out. He's been giving us the 2-minute minor for what's been going on in the world of hockey. I'm actually going to talk a little bit of hockey, though, before we get Drew on. And I'm curious, Matt, I want your opinion. Would you rather today be doing Sports Talk Radio in L.A. or Sports Talk Radio in Dallas? And the reason I say that is because, well, little Randy Newman for you.
Rolling down Shell Highway. Big nasty ready to my side.
So this is I Love LA. It is not a good day to be an LA sports fan. Now, granted, you still have the LA Dodgers, which is always a plus. But think about the week that they've had. But I haven't looked at the Dodgers record. Are they struggling?
Well, as the Giants fan, I'm just obligated to say they suck.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't think that they're.
No, they don't actually suck. They're actually a very good team. If you want to make me say it.
I thought they were playing well. They're getting Walker. They're getting Walker Buehler back on Monday, who's their ace. So that's pretty good.
They could go 162-0, and I'd still say they suck.
But the bad news for LA fans is the Dodgers are the only thing going right for you right now because the L.A. Kings got eliminated last night by the Edmonton Oilers. The L.A. Clippers got absolutely drubbed, embarrassed, blown off the floor by the Dallas Mavericks last night. The L.A. Angels earlier this week lost Mike Trout again to another injury. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. I think it was a meniscus, but I'm not 100% sure. But I know he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. So, yeah, things are not going real good in L.A. right now. But, Matt, as a sports talk radio host, that is like absolute gold. Oh, yeah, and by the way, you also have, the whole controversy surrounding one.
LeBron James.
Is LeBron going to stay? Is he going to opt out? What is he going to force the Lakers to draft Bronny James? Is he going to get Darvin Ham fired? And then there's also
those two. See, the thing is, those two things. Is he going to force the Lakers to draft Bronny James, or is he going to try and get Darvin Ham fired? If you said that to some person who wasn't an NBA fan, they would think that you were joking because they would have this assumption. Oh, players can't just do that. No, LeBron is a crybaby, and LeBron has done that. And no, those are absolutely legitimate possibilities. I just think it's hilarious that in the game that today that there's a player that can actually do that, and people listen to him.
Well, and then you've got Magic Johnson, who Magic went out the other day and absolutely lit the Lakers organization on fire, saying that they're old and that they can't win. And, I mean, just every possible scenario about the Lakers that he could have ripped, he ripped. And then all of a sudden now Magic is trying to walk it all back. He took to Twitter last night and
Is he trying to walk it all back?
Yeah, he took to Twitter last night and said, Laker Nation, I have to apologize to the Lakers organization. It was injuries that plagued the Lakers this season, not load management.
Jeannie Buss called him, or somebody called him. That is
believable. Yeah. So my point is, right now, it is a pretty good day to be a LA Sports Talk radio host, because there is nothing that there's no shortage of things to talk about in LA. LA right now is on fire with sports topics. Meantime, you've got the other side of the ledger, and the other side of the ledger is almost as riveting. Love the 70s music. 1978. You know this, don't you, Matt? We brought it up on the show before.
Yeah, Dallas.
This is the theme
Dallas,
song from
yeah.
Dallas. How great of a day is it also to be doing Sports Talk Radio in Dallas, but it's the complete opposite side of the equation with what's going on Dallas. Last night, the Dallas Stars, they play a thriller against the LA Kings. They get a 5-minute major late in the second period and are able to cash that into a go-ahead goal to take a 3-2 lead, and then they hold on off of a off of a Las Vegas Golden Knights onslaught offensively to try and get the equalizer. They hold the Knights off, and they now have a 3-2 lead in their best-of-6 series. They're heading back to Vegas. They'll play tomorrow night in Game 6, and selfishly, I'm rooting for the Stars to win the series because I have a lot of friends in Dallas, and so I'm rooting to see them move on. But I am selfishly rooting for the Las Vegas Golden Knights tomorrow night because if there's a Game 7, it will be Sunday night in Dallas, and I am flying to Dallas on Saturday afternoon, and I will be in Dallas, and I will more than likely find a way through my connections there to get into Game 7. And a Game 7 in the NHL playoffs is about as good as it gets. So I'm fired up about that. But then, as if that's not enough for Dallas fans, last night, literally, the timing could not have been better. I was out to dinner. I was at a restaurant, a Mexican restaurant near my house, and they had the hockey game on one screen, and they had the NBA on another screen. And it was like the second that the Dallas Stars game ended, the Dallas Mavericks game against the LA Clippers started. It was the perfect night if you're a Dallas sports fan. And then you watch the Stars win that thriller against Vegas. By the way, sorry, Bisa. I don't know if we'll bring Bisa in a second. I need her take on Las Vegas Golden Knights if she's into the Knights or not. But so the Stars win, and then you flip over to the NBA game, and Dallas absolutely destroys LA. Part of the reason why LA is in misery. So they've got everything rolling right now in Dallas. The Mavericks are heading back home for Game 6 with a chance to close out the Clippers. So Matt Fowler, would you rather be doing, and we're a national show, so we could talk about both, but would you rather be talking about would you rather be in Dallas today talking about how great things are going? And, oh, yeah, by the way, the Cowboys re-signed Ezekiel Elliott, and he's back in the mix with the Cowboys, and he was a fan favorite there. So you got a couple of things to talk about in Dallas. Meantime, you got Armageddon going on in L.A. Where do you think it's better to be doing Sports Talk Radio today?
From a career standpoint, just selfishly, probably L.A. But from a this is fun standpoint, although, I'm going to have to put on that face and act like the Dallas Cowboys are actually good. So, that would suck. But from a this is fun standpoint, I would say Dallas for sure.
The Cowboys, newsflash, Matt, they are good. They just can't win in the playoffs.
So they're not good.
We'll see whether or not if they can remain good going into next year.
They're not good. If they don't win the playoffs, they're not good.
Okay, well, I don't know. Let's get Bisa back in. Bisa, I'll give you a little entrance music here because I can never play the Back to the Future theme enough. Las Vegas, the Golden Knights, they were the first team. They beat the Raiders into town, and the A's are going to be next, and then probably an NBA team at some point. But the Vegas Golden Knights will always be able to say that they were the first of the 4 major sports to get to Vegas. And I think a lot of people were blown away by how quickly the Las Vegas community embraced the Golden Knights, how many hockey fans came out of the woodwork in Vegas, and by the way, they went to the Stanley Cup Finals their first year in existence, which was unheard of. Are you on board? Are you on the Las Vegas Golden Knights bandwagon?
Yes, I love the Knights. Growing up in Wisconsin, I pretty much really went for like UW-Madison when it came to like hockey and whatnot, and I never really got like a team, like a home feel. So now moving here and like now we have the nights and like the parades are crazy and they'll do all these cool watch parties and I love it. I really do. It makes me get excited about hockey.
So game 6 tomorrow night will be in Vegas, and it's an elimination game for the Knights. They got to win to stay alive. Will you go? Do you know people that are going? Is there a buzz in the city about it?
I know a few people who are going, and because really the big thing is like watch parties, like Circa, the new adult only resort who has that humongous
Oh yeah.
pool
Oh
area.
yeah.
Like they're throwing them all the sports books, so like it's more fun to go to like the watch parties I see, but I wish I could go to the game. I'm too poor.
By the way, I'm assuming it's pool weather now in Vegas, right? The Circle Pool. It's a good time to be there.
Well, what's crazy, they do it all year long and they'll just like have it heated.
I know,
Like
but it's not as fun if it's not really pool weather. Is it really pool weather season in Vegas now?
Uh, not yet. Like we're in the high 80s and we keep hitting 90 plus, but
High 80s is pool weather. Maybe in
not
maybe,
not in Vegas.
No, Dave. I agree. Not in Vegas. No. The pool weather is 90, 100. I mean, if you're not dying in the sun, if you are not dying of a heat stroke in Vegas, it's not pool weather. Okay.
A little bit.
I will say I went to Circa last year. I think it was like week 4 of the NFL season. It was early October. I was in Vegas and I was there to do one of the museum shows. Why I'm going to Dallas tomorrow, but I was in Vegas and I went to Circa and I went to the Circa pool to watch an NFL Sunday, and it was ridiculous, and it was like 110 degrees, and it was like you went in the pool, and the second you got out, like and sat on your chair, you were already ready to get back into the pool because it was like you were instantly dry the second you got out of the pool. The only problem with that is like I gotta admit I don't feel really all that comfortable being in those pools because, we all kind of know what probably happens in those pools, and it's rather disgusting, and nobody likes to think about it. But it's I don't think the sanitation level is as high as it should be.
Yeah.
Bisa's like,
There we
I'm
go.
not touching that. I'm not touching that.
Smart.
I agree, but then I know when it's like 110, 115, I'm gonna be singing another story.
Yeah, right. So do you go? Will you do something tomorrow for the game? Are you going to go to a watch party? What are you going to do?
I might see about going to a watch party, especially like on Fremont. They are really big on the watch parties. If not outside of the T-Mobile Arena, that would be like I think that would be the best watch party spot right outside the arena.
Yeah, I've been out there. There's like the team right outside the T-Mobile Arena. There's a couple of good like pubs there, and I know isn't like the Hello Kitty truck. Isn't that where the Hello Kitty truck lives? I always walk past that Hello Kitty truck, and the line is huge. The line
We
is
have an
huge.
established one now. It's an established Hello Kitty cafe. I've been. It's inside Fashion Show Mall, and oh my God, is it cute? I had like a cute Hello Kitty cookie. If you are really into taking pictures, great place for aesthetics.
Well, I've seen that. I've seen the truck. I haven't seen the one inside Fashion Square Mall, although I've been to that mall many times because I know that's right across the street from Wynn and Encore. But the Hello Kitty truck that I always saw parked outside right near T-Mobile Arena, like the line was, I was always like, why is there such a long line for a Hello Kitty truck? Like, it makes no sense to me. That's the only reason I even noticed it, because it's like every time I ever went by there was a line that looked like it was, longer than a line to get on a roller coaster at Disneyland.
It's really for the tourists. Like there are so many things that people will get so excited for, and it's like as a local, you're like, okay. I know like a better deal or a better party, or this person will come back another time. I can wait.
Right. By the way, I'm not gonna call anybody out. But last night, Bisa on our thread on our text chain, our text thread, shared with us a paper that she's working on for school, and how you had contacted somebody in your area who has knowledge of what your topic is, and you shared with us the emails. This person said, "Go ahead and send me some questions. I'll be happy to answer." And then basically you sent these questions, which were really well thought out, well written, thought provoking, and this woman responds, basically, "I'm not writing your paper for you. Sorry." Like, what?
Like, first of all, I'm a 4.0 student. I don't need anyone to write my paper.
Right. I was just like, I was blown away by that. I was blown, and I got that text while I was at dinner watching the End of the Stars game. But I was just like, what? Like, I mean, because I've had many people contact me over the years, like, hey, can you give me some advice? Can you take a look at my tape? Can you listen to my reel? Whatever. And I try to be as generous with my time as I can be. But at the same time, listen, I've got real life things I need to do, right? I'm a dad trying to raise my son. I'm trying to launch my startup. I'm trying to do the radio show. Like, I only have so many hours in the day. So I can understand, like, hey, if somebody sent me a list of questions which were as thorough and as fantastic as yours were, my initial reaction would probably be like, this is going to take me like 2 hours to answer these, right? I don't have that kind of time. But I would have at least like cherry picked like 2 or 3. And I would have been like, my response to that would have been, "Hey, Bisa, thanks for your list of questions. A full disclosure, I just don't think I'm going to have time to get to all these. So I've chosen a couple that I feel like are the most pertinent, and here's my thoughts." And I would have sent that off to you. And you would have probably been very, appreciative and grateful for that. You wouldn't have been like, "Oh, I can't believe she didn't answer all of them." Like, I mean, it's just, but the fact that this woman responded with basically just like, "Yeah, I'm not doing this," like, that was insane to me. So I'm sorry you went through that. And I'm sorry that caused you to feel like, did you do something wrong? Because you did nothing wrong.
And follow up, I emailed 2 of my journalism professors, and they're both were like, "No, these are questions we would have asked similarly." So all of the chaos in my head rethinking my big final is down.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you got to work that in. Like, you could use that. Like, you could use that. Well, I don't know. I mean, you're obviously a 4.0 student. You know what you're doing, but like, there is a way to use that and say, "Hey, this is an example of why things are not great in this area that you're discussing." Anyway, all right, Bisa, love it. Thanks for checking out. I'll let you go get to work on some mailbag stuff for us, and we will check back in with you in about 45 minutes. So Maddie, let's get back to the topics du jour. A couple of big things going on right now in the NHL, as we talked about, but tonight it's going to be Game 6 between the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Austin Matthews already ruled out for that. And we're going to have to ask Drew his take on it. Is there any chance Toronto is able to extend this series without Matthews for a second straight game?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I have no hockey. I am not a hockey person.
You're not a hockey person?
I literally can't tell you one player on any team.
You really? You can't name one hockey player.
Wayne Gretzky was cool.
We just talked the other day about somebody from the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, I got nothing.
You don't even know who we talked about 2 days ago? Number 8 for the Washington Capitals? I'm putting you on the spot, Maddie. I'm sorry. All right.
You know what? No, I just a lot.
Alex Ovechkin.
Oh no. Okay. Yes, I do know Alex Ovechkin. Yes.
He's likely to become the all-time leading goal scorer.
Yeah, and he's what, 46 away from Gretzky, right?
He's 41 away from tying, 42
41.
from taking
Okay.
the lead. Yes.
See, I was paying attention.
You were paying attention. Okay, so let's get our first break in. When we come back, we will talk a little bit about the NBA and what's happening tonight in Philly. Game 6 between the Knicks and the Sixers, and they are trying to make sure that there is not a Madison Square Garden takeover tonight, courtesy of the New York Knicks fans that took over in Game 4, much to the chagrin of Joel Embiid. So we'll get all that when we come back. You are tuning in to the Thursday edition of LFG.
What if I showed you a new way to view wellness through the lens of nature in its purest form?
Everything we produce is highly functional. Reducing pain or leg cramping, everything we have, everything we've developed is designed specifically for a particular function.
What I love about this oil is that it really, it just is absorbed by your skin so much easier than other oils that I've tried in the past.
I always have difficulty finding a product that's meant for me, and I feel like that's something that's really hard as an Afro-Latina. This feels so good.
Arthur, does it help to have someone to talk to?
My mother always tells me to smile and put on a happy face. She told me I had a purpose to bring laughter and joy to the world. Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Gotham has lost its way.
What's so funny? Freak!
I used to think that my life was a tragedy. But now I realize it's a comedy.
Once upon a time I was falling in love. Now I'm only falling apart.
The next composition is Opus Dei, Dei Dei Pater, 7th movement by Chopin. Correction, the next composition is 1877, Cars for Kids.
1877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
All right, welcome back to LFG. I had to come back with the Bonnie Tyler because that I don't know that Joker trailer that really just worked so well with that trailer. But you liked the Cars for Kids, Matt. That got a smile out of you.
Well, Family Guy is always very good with their jokes, and I'm a fan of Family Guy.
I'm not. You know what? I've never really seen Family Guy. What? Last night I typed into YouTube. I typed in PSA spoofs. And that was the first thing that came up was the because we had talked about if we should run the 1877 Cars for Kids commercial. By the way, I need to ask Emily, who is probably listening to the show over in London, if I'm assuming 1877 Cars for Kids is not a thing in the UK, but here in the US, everybody knows that it's basically torture.
I'm not going to try and do my horrible British accent, but what would the equivalent for Cars for Kids be in Britain? That'd be funny.
I don't know. I don't know if there is a Cars for Kids equivalent. Thankfully, hopefully there is not. Anyway, Matt Fowler, the NBA tonight. The Philadelphia 76ers going back to take on the New York Knicks in Game 6 after the Knicks blew Game 5. They had it won. And, oh yeah, by the way, Did you see the NBA 2-minute report yesterday?
I did not.
The NBA says that they missed a Tyrese Maxey travel before the 4-point play, and that he should have been, there should have been a whistle and a travel, and the Knicks should have been given the ball. So that's just rubbing a little bit of salt into the wound if you're a New York Knicks fan.
Can I just go off on a rant here for like 20 seconds? The NBA 2-minute report is the stupidest thing that I have ever seen in my life. There is no point to the NBA 2-minute report. There is, because you're not going to go back and be like, yeah, we're going to restart the game with the final 5 seconds, and or we're going to restart the game with the Knicks with the ball. No, the 2-minute report only serves to either delegitimize, if you're on the winning side of it, delegitimize something in your mind that you did right in the winning team, or rub salt in the wound of the losing team. The 2-minute report is absolute BS. And I get the reason that they do it is to be transparent and maybe as a thing to, monitor the officials. But I say monitor the officials the way that any job does. You do it privately. You do it, you have people, you have managers that look over this stuff. The 2-minute report to the public serves literally no purpose. End of rant.
Okay. First of all, I agree with you on most of those points. I do think that you're right. It basically rubs salt in the wound when you realize that you got screwed by a missed call. But you would prefer it just to happen under in a cave where they're going to do self-assessment? You don't think that they should come out? I admire the fact that the league comes out and admits, hey, we missed a call. That's not easy to do. And then there are times too that it validates calls that officials have made. If there was no 2-minute report, people would sit there and bitch about the fact that there was a missed call and whatever. At least now you've got accountability. I get that you're not going to go back and redo it. I get that it's pointless in terms of affecting the outcome, but at least the league knows, hey, we're aware that we blew this call. We're aware that we missed it. The most egregious example of it was in the WNBA finals about 5 years ago. The Minnesota Lynx were playing. I don't remember who it was they were playing, but there was a blown call with like 3 seconds left in the game that preceded whoever they were playing. I should know who the Lynx lost against, but whoever they were playing, it might have been I think it was game 7. It was game 7 or game 5, because then they do 5. It was game 5 of the WNBA finals. The WNBA finals literally got decided by a blown call. And the 2-minute report confirmed it. So nobody's gotten hosed more than the Minnesota Lynx did in that situation. I don't, again, remember the exact details, but I do know they got hosed out of a championship. But they came out and admitted that, hey, they blew the call. So I don't know that you can have it both ways. You can't bitch about the process of there being a 2-minute report, and then if there wasn't, complain about the fact that, oh, there's no transparency. These officials are human. They miss calls. Do you have any idea how many different things that they are looking at on every single second of every single play?
Oh, yeah, I absolutely agree with you. They miss calls. They're human, and the people that criticize the officials, they shouldn't criticize them as much. But this idea that we need to have a 2-minute report to essentially say, sorry, our bad. We're not going to do anything about it, but yeah, we screwed up. No, the officials are human. They make errors. Any championship, I don't care what it is, WNBA, NBA, NFL, WNBA, MLB, I said that twice, NHL. I don't care what sport. It should never be decided on a referee's call if it's a blown call, or lack thereof. But the 2-minute, something's got to change with the 2-minute report.
Well, listen, let's move on. Let's talk about what's going to be happening with the NBA coming up tonight instead of talking about what already transpired. And here's a little. We are the New York Knicks. Do you remember this? You probably weren't alive yet, Matt. 1994, what year were you born?
91, actually. 91.
This was the Knicks theme from 1994 when they went to the NBA Finals and lost to the Rockets. That, of course, the series that was going on when the OJ Bronco chase happened. The Knicks and the Sixers, Game 6 tonight. New York, they took over. They were just about screaming, "Go New York, go New York, go," at Wells Fargo Center in Game 4, much to the chagrin of Joel Embiid, who came out and basically said that he was, flat out embarrassed how many Knicks fans were able to get tickets and go into that arena. So what have the 76ers done? The owner of the Sixers has gone ahead and bought the available seats that are out there on the secondary market to make sure that they don't get into the hands of Knicks fans. Now, my question is that going to mean that there's going to be less fannies in the seats, or does that mean that they're all going to just be that those tickets are somehow going to find their way into the hands of Knicks fans? Sixers fans. I don't know the answer to that, Matt.
I think as Drew Goldfarb has joined the telecast here, I think that it is not really that great of a look to try to buy up tickets. It just seems tacky and stupid.
No, but he's not. See, I disagree. He's not buying up tickets because there's not enough interest in the tickets aren't being sold.
I'm very aware why he's buying up tickets. I just think it's stupid.
Well, I think it's a genius move on his part because then if the Sixers lose, at least there's not going to be any excuse of, hey, too many Knicks fans were in here, and that's a bad look for ownership. How did they let that happen? So, I think he's going to get those tickets off the secondary market, which is not going to be cheap, and then he's going to give them out to Sixers fans. So I think it's going to be a very pro-Sixers crowd tonight.
Well, we'll see. Drew, what do you think about?
Well, no, dude. We got to get in another break before we get Drew. Let's let Drew get his water. Drew, we'll get to you in a second. Let's sneak in our break. Let's sneak in our break. And I'm dying to talk hockey with you, Drew. There's some good hockey stuff going on. So our sports betting analyst Drew Goldfarb is here. We will get to him in just a moment. Going to take another quick timeout. Then we'll have a Matt Fowler sports update. It's all ahead when we continue on with this edition. Matt, this is a fast break, by the way. It's just going to be a 2-minute break, and then we're back with a Matt Fowler sports update. It's the Thursday edition of LFG. It continues.
Your breakfast was up.
Winthrop is a very steady young man. We're lucky to have him managing our firm for us.
Hogwash. He's the product of good environment.
It's got nothing to do with environment. With his genes, you can put Winthrop anywhere, and he's going to come out on top.
You have a history of juvenile arrests, I presume, drug abuse, reform school, state prisons, and all that?
You ain't talking to this guy. I want a lawyer.
Given the right surroundings and encouragement, I'll bet that man could run our company as well as your young Winthrop. If he lost his job, and his home, and his fiancée, and his friends, if he were somehow arrested by the police and thrown in jail.
That's not mine. I've never seen that before in my life.
Yes, I'm sure he'd take the crime like a fish to water.
It's the bottom of the hour, or close enough. Time for your Tickscape Studios Sports Update with Matt Fowler.
Xavier transfer Desmond Claude, winner of the Big East Most Improved Player Award, has committed to USC. Claude becomes the Trojans' 9th transfer addition and 11th newcomer of the offseason as new coach Eric Musselman moves closer to finalizing his first USC roster. Claude chose the Trojans after taking a visit to their campus last weekend. For all the latest news, updates, hot takes, tune in to LFG with myself, Matt Fowler, Dave Benz, Jim Kozimar, our associate producer, Bisa, and a number of esteemed guests. Now back to Dave Benz on LFG.
The Thursday edition rolls on, and we're happy to have a regular back on the show.
Vegas sets the numbers. He stays up all night dissecting them.
The Gambletron 2000 says the winner is...
LFG welcomes sports betting analyst Drew Goldfarb.
Yeah, good to be back in the saddle with Drew Goldfarb from Las Vegas, Nevada. We're very Las Vegas-centric today with Bisa already giving us the temperature of what's going on with fans about the Golden Knights there. And Drew is a huge hockey person. He's got to be very excited about his Florida Panthers as well. We'll get into all that. But Drew, I saw you watching the Trading Places trailer. Have you seen that movie? That's like our new bit. We're doing all these recut movie trailers to make them that kind of looks. I'd like to see that version of the movie.
I like it. It did have a little bit of that more 90s action kind of a presentation in that trailer. So I've seen it, of course. I think it ran on Comedy Central twice a day, every day at some point 15, 20 years ago. So I may not have seen it from start to finish in one sitting, but I've certainly seen it from start to finish at least twice.
Awesome stuff. Love having Drew Goldfarb on. I think I just changed my mic accidentally. Hold on. What did I do?
Did we lose Dave? I think we lost
got
Dave.
A microphone there.
Yeah, my mic, I changed the, here we go. Hold on. There we go. You guys got me back? All right. I accidentally hit a wrong button. There you go. Live streaming television. So, Drew, we missed you last week. We took a hiatus for a couple of weeks, and then last week things didn't sync up, so it is great to have you back. What is, before we get into any specifics, what is the latest in the world of Drew Goldfarb? How did you guys do in your hockey tournament? Did you win the championship?
We ended up in second place. We lost in the championship game by we made it a 1-goal game with our goalie pulled with about a minute left, and then gave up an empty netter to lose by 2. The new season already started. We're 4 weeks in. We played.
Wow.
We had a game last night at 11:20 p.m. It wasn't over until 12:45, and which. So I've already had some coffee today. I'll probably have an espresso in a little while just to try and catch up a little bit. But yeah, that was quite the scheduling done there by the rink. But I guess the alternative was to either not play or to play on a different day of the week. So is what it is.
Yeah,
so
by the way, how blessed are we living in the Pacific time zone overall when it comes to sports? I've been watching a lot of these playoff games and thinking, the games are ending at 10 o'clock at night and I'm kind of tired and I'm like, man, these games really go late. And then I just think, it's 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Who's staying up and watching this stuff?
I mean, that reminds me of when I was in college and we'd be watching the NHL playoffs or something along those lines, whatever it was, and being like, okay, if this goes to a second overtime, we're not going to our 8 a.m. class tomorrow. We just got to draw the line. We have to agree right now. We're in the same class at 8 a.m. tomorrow. We have to just say no if the game goes to a second overtime.
Strength in numbers. We all blow it off in numbers. Yeah,
exactly.
And I was listening. Yeah, I was listening to the radio earlier, and they were talking about the Mavs Clippers and Game 6 tomorrow night, and coverage starts at 9:30 Eastern. I'm like, God, that's just crazy. All right, so Drew, dgpicks.com is the place to go. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to give the full screen here so we get the full Drew Goldfarb studio experience. There we go. That is the full experience. I love that backdrop, by the way. That is awesome. So right now, this time of year, I would imagine the playoffs are red hot for people looking for a little action out in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? You get the NBA playoffs, you get the NHL playoffs, you got early season MLB. Just had the draft for the NFL, which is something that you can also wager on. Probably only makes sense if you're betting beyond just the first overall pick, because that's usually pretty much a given. But yeah, this is a fun time of year to be involved in sports in any way, to bet on it. it's really just it's entertaining to watch and it's fun and you get a lot of options if you want them on sports betting.
Can I get a futures bet on? Does Vegas take action on the Olympics?
I mean, there will be. I don't know about this far out, but
I want a futures bet on Team USA in basketball because there's no way LeBron and Steph are going to the Olympics. It'll be LeBron's last and Steph's first and last. I don't see any way that they don't win the gold medal in basketball.
That's interesting. I have to imagine that will be one of those situations where I'm trying to see if we got it live yet. I don't see it under basketball looking on FanDuel at the moment. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be a situation where you will probably be able to get a U.S. versus the field wager before everything gets going there. So that's something that you could certainly look into, but probably does need to get a little bit closer because, you know, you could already bet on the 2025 men's college basketball national champion if you want, but or WNBA for this upcoming season, but nothing for the Olympics just yet. That will obviously change as things get closer.
All right, so what has your attention right now as it comes to sports wagering? Like if you had a couple of bucks in your pocket, where do you think there's some good value right now?
I mean, so there is actual plus EV value on tonight's only NHL playoff game. You got the Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins. And so when I say plus EV, what I mean by that is that if you are comparing the odds that you're going to get taking one of those teams with your choice of computer model or however you model it, there's one that I like to use as a starting point reference, which is Money Puck. And they actually give Toronto a 54% chance to win tonight. They're only minus 104. To win on the money line from FanDuel.
So, really? So that's interesting. No, Austin Matthews already been ruled out.
Correct. Yeah, but I mean, he didn't play in the last game, and Toronto actually won that one. They've been getting good goaltending, at least they did in the last game. So, you know, it's funny because there's actually a bit of value on both sides, and this is one of those situations where you don't even have to leave the same sports book to find alternate versions of the same bet with a better payout. Because on this game, at last check, Toronto was about minus 105, Boston was about minus 115. You can still bet on whether or not the series goes 7 games. And the payout for under 6.5 games, which means Boston would win tonight, is minus 105, which is a better payout than you'd get by taking Boston to win the game.
That's sneaky. That is sneaky.
It is. You would think it would be the other way around because the over pays out worse than taking Toronto money line. And the only way that we get to 7 games is if Toronto wins tonight. So it's one of those things, even if you know the bet that you want, you need to be thorough in what you're checking because you're basically, if you want to take the Bruins to win tonight, there's a better way to bet that. There's a more profitable way to take that, which is to take under 6.5 games in the series because that means the...
Uh-oh. What just happened? We just went down, folks. The internet connection just went down. That's not good. We will try to refresh. Matt is probably still in the studio. Let's see. Matt and Drew are probably still both in. Drew's probably still going right now. There we go.
Not sure, I got kicked out for a second
internet
there.
went
Apparently,
down, guys.
Someone didn't like that. I was, giving you some really good insight and some decent betting picks and a way of finding some more value if you want to take the Boston side of
you were
Bruins
giving
and
some
Leafs
decent, some decent.
Are you guys?
Picks. I'm
you
trying to get
guys
everybody else back
are
in the
still
studio
not
here.
hearing me. You guys are still not hearing me. All right. Let's see. Not sure what happened there. My mic is going out over the stream, but for some reason I've lost my connection here on Riverside, and I'm trying to refresh, but it is not really cooperating. Here we go. All right, let's see what happens now. Let's see if it'll let me in. Let's see if it'll actually let me in. It's not letting me join the studio. Okay. Let's see what happens now. Let's see what happens now. See if Matt lets me back in. Gotta love this fun stuff with technology. All right, Maddie, let me back in. There we go. Can you guys hear me now?
Take two.
I hear and see everybody.
All right. Hey, all right.
I don't know what happened. My internet just went down, and it was funny because I got a notification.
My internet just went down. That is so weird.
Yours went down as well.
I said that too.
All of us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there
I
you go.
got booted twice.
I rebooted. I rebooted it in the middle of it. I got back on for a second, and I heard you guys talking, and then my mic wasn't open, so I had to go back. But anybody watching on the live stream actually saw what all that looked like from my end, because that's what's going out over the live stream. Although I don't know if the live stream also went down. Bisa, let's check in with Bisa. Bisa, you're monitoring the live stream, I believe. Is the live stream still up? Did we ever lose the live stream? I don't know if Bisa's internet is up. Let's see.
So, okay, there was like just for a moment where we saw like, the background of the studio. But on my end in the studio, everybody was just black.
Okay. But are we up? Is the live stream looking good right now? Are you watching?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. All right, perfect. All right. Drew, you were in a great, okay, thanks, B. So, Drew, you were in a great, you were going about how great it was that you could get better odds by predicting that the series ends in under 6.5 games, which is the same as betting the Bruins to win tonight.
Correct.
But you get a better payout, and then that's kind of where it all went haywire.
And the man tried to silence me, and I said, no, I'm coming back. Whatever has to happen here, I got to share where value lies.
It was the Russians. It was the Russians.
It was the Russians. The Russians are trying to get in on this. There we go. Yeah, but Drew doing it for the people. Drew is a man of the people. I love it. Anyway, so please continue. You were on a roll.
Yeah, so basically, that basically explains why you need to be thorough when you're looking at odds, not just by comparing value at different sports books, but even within the same sports book. Because again, Toronto on the money line, really good value. But if you want Boston on their side of things, the better value you get is just taking the series to end in under 6.5 games, because it's the same as the Boston money line, but for some reason, at least at FanDuel, you're getting paid more betting it that way than you are the other. Because right now they're minus 115 to win, and I'm going to pull it up just to make sure that they haven't changed it yet. Yeah, under 6.5 games, minus 105.
And what is the over 6.5 games?
Minus 115, whereas Toronto is minus 104 to win tonight. So it should be reversed, because then it would basically be the exact same odds to take the series going over under 6.5 as it is picking the respective money line that forces over or under 6.5.
Is that they just nobody's picked up on that? I know you're not in but is this a common thing for something like that to happen?
There's a lot of times where the same type of bet is going to have different value depending on how it's phrased. I haven't seen something as simple as a money line wager, because this is very specific to a game 6, right? Because this is the only game in the playoff series, or game 4 if it's a best of 5, where the money line and the series total is literally the same bet.
Right.
There are plenty of times where you'll see the same general wager that will pay out differently depending on how you phrase it. Sometimes it could be like in baseball, a player to get 1+ hit versus over a half a total base. You might get a slightly different payout because of the way the algorithms have that going and where those computer calculations are coming out. But so always make sure that you're double checking, because there's going to be an alternate way to make the same exact wager, and it usually will come with worse odds, but sometimes you find something like that where you're getting Boston minus 105 instead of minus 115.
Drew Goldfarb is our guest, dgpicks.com, our Las Vegas sports betting analyst. He is also a huge NHL fan. From a non-betting perspective, just from a fan perspective, how entertaining have the Stanley Cup playoffs been? I was locked in last night with that Dallas Las Vegas game. That went all the way down to the very end. I couldn't believe that they got there. The empty netter was like a foot from going in, and that would have ended it. And then Vegas made one last push, and I was honestly hoping they were going to score, because I wanted to see overtime.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I know that this has not been the most competitive first round we've seen in recent years for the NHL, but it's still good. You're still getting Boston, Toronto going at least 6, which, it'll be great. I will love it for just get the popcorn ready if that series goes 7, which based on Money Puck, it should. But yeah, I'm always a big fan of any of the NHL playoff stuff. So even though you had a couple series that weren't super competitive, it's still the NHL playoffs. It's the best postseason in sports. It's fantastic, and the grind that's involved with it, the physicality. the goal scoring, just the skill. Sergei Bobrovsky just making the most ridiculous save. There's always one of those every postseason, and we saw it in Florida versus Tampa this year, where a goalie just does something that should not be physically possible to make a ridiculous save. And their team store put up a shirt with that save, because I don't know, did you guys see that one? You know what I'm referring to?
I did not see it. I did not see it.
Literally on one side, so he's on the net's behind me, the left side of the crease, jumps across but backwards and grabs it with his glove.
Did he even see it?
I probably not, although this is one of those cases where the expression "eyes in the back of his head" would certainly apply.
Yeah, and so we know the Rangers are playing the Hurricanes, and then Florida's sitting there waiting for the winner of this Boston-Toronto series. How much does a layoff like that? I know in baseball in the postseason, it's not good when you get out of your rhythm like that. Right. How much will a long layoff? So let's just say this thing does go 7. How much does a long layoff hurt the Panthers with their chances to find any rhythm going into round 2?
I mean, it honestly could go either way, because on one side of the coin, it's breaking that rhythm that you've got, and on the other side of it, you get healthier. Going into the Stanley Cup final last year, Florida was much more rested than Vegas was. And Vegas had a hotter start to the Stanley Cup final last year, which led to them winning 4-1. So, it's one of those things where they're going to play either Boston or Toronto, and whichever one wins that series is going to be coming off of playing Boston or Toronto. So I would much rather be in the Panthers' position, where you're sitting back for a week and waiting, than having to deal with your biggest rival in either 6 or 7 games, because that's just going to take a lot out of you, not just because it's going to go 6 or 7 games, but because it's Boston-Toronto. That is always going to be the case. Carolina and New York, those teams are both in the exact same boat, so no concerns there. But for Florida, yeah, I mean, they're going to be the home team for Game 1 and Game 2, which is not what happened in the Stanley Cup final last year. So I think to be rested and not have to wait to figure out where you're flying to, like the Panthers had to last year, where they were going and like, are we going to Vegas? Are we not? Are the Golden Knights going to advance? Or are they not? This one, they get to kind of sit back and be like, all right, Boston or Toronto, one of them's coming to us in a few days.
So the Boston-Toronto game tonight's going to be fantastic. Edmonton closed out the LA Kings last night. I should know who the other two teams in the West are, but refresh my memory.
Colorado already eliminated.
Oh, that's right. Colorado, yeah, they won the other night. And then who's the other team?
Well, you got Dallas, Vegas. So the Colorado's waiting the winner.
Get next?
They are getting. The winner of Vancouver, Nashville.
Okay.
That game is tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Which should be Vancouver, but they've been without Thatcher Demko. So Nashville was basically the hottest team in the last 2 months of the regular season, staying alive against Vancouver, although a massive underdog for even at home tomorrow, plus 260.
How good would you have been last night if you had a two-team parlay on the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks? They both covered and then some last night. Does more money come in on one sport or the other in Vegas? Do they track it by sport? Like do you how does the NHL stack up against the NBA when it comes to wagering?
I mean, I don't have numbers in front of me, but the NBA is a more popular sport than the NHL in the U.S., so you're going to get a good bit more on the NBA. It's just it's the popularity of the sport. It's basically going to be the same. Everybody watches March Madness. Everybody watches the Super Bowl. So those are going to have the biggest betting things, because most sports bettors are sports fans. So they're, it's what you bet on what you know if you're playing it smart, or you bet what you want to watch for the entertainment value. And either way, more people are going to be into the NBA than the NHL, which is why sometimes you find value. I don't know if like that, what's available on the Bruins tonight, I don't know if that would have been available on Knicks Sixers, because I think that there's so many more eyeballs on something like that than there is on Boston, Toronto, at least in the U.S. And not in New England.
Drew, I want to touch on something, because we didn't have you last week, and then we took a 2-week hiatus before that. So I'll touch very briefly on the Ohtani thing. I will admit I was completely wrong, and it was definitely a fraud thing, and you were right on about that. And I remember we had some conversations about that. Very unfortunate, but but then jumping over to the Dejounte Murray Was it Jonte Murray?
Jonte Porter?
Or sorry, Jonte Porter. The Jonte Porter situation. That is, I mean, the last person to get a lifetime ban from the NBA was Donald Sterling. And so it's not, I mean, that does not happen very often. I very much think that it should have happened. Absolutely. You can't be gambling on yourself, essentially. But now the math doesn't really work out. I think he made about $2.6 million playing in the NBA and made about $21,000 gambling. So that math doesn't really work. But how concerning is this from a standpoint of, okay, now we have multiple occasions where players are either betting on themselves or their own teams, and this is just, I mean, everybody talks about what that could possibly mean in terms of fixing things, and how do you think that all shakes out?
I mean, you know, there's been an instance or two in the CFL as well. You know, I think that obviously there's, you know, as we went over talking about Ohtani way back, that it's one of those things that the leagues are going to have to adjust to. And what I would say is that if there is I'm a very optimistic person by nature. So if there's an upside to the way that the legalization has been across the country and really North America, where it's become way more legal, it's probably easier to keep tabs on players to make sure they're not when they're going through a legal entity to place the bets. If you go back to the Pete Rose situation, going back 30 years, more than that, wow, time is cruel.
Yes.
But when you go back to that, it's, you know, it's not like FanDuel was being like, is this the same Pete Rose that's betting on this game as the one who's playing in this game? So I think that there is the upside of when you have it legalized so, you know, in so many places, it's easier to keep tabs on because it's with legalization comes just oversight and regulation, and that helps with trying to cut down on those things. It's not like there were never, you know, game fixing allegations before this, because you had you had the referee in the NBA 20 years ago. You got the Black Sox scandal going back to 100 years. You've got Pete Rose. You've got other situations and examples. I'm blanking on it, so I don't want to lump them in, but I know you had like a death penalty handed to SMU's football program decades back. So it's not like there have never been reasons before this to where players or teams or organizations have done things that were, you know, not good. Now, with it being legalized, at the very least, it should be easier to keep tabs on everything and to, you know, cut it out as soon as it starts. Because, again, there are legal channels to go through. It's a lot easier to track that kind of thing.
Well, here's the thing. Jonte Porter got caught. There are lots of times that players have done this and not gotten caught. You can't tell me this is the only time it's happened. He got caught. But in some ways, Jonte Porter could end up being the best thing that happened to the NBA and maybe to pro sports, in terms of now they can go, you know, when you're in your rookie symposiums in the NFL, in the NHL, in Major League Baseball, you better believe, I don't care what sport it's going to be, you better believe Jonte Porter's name is going to get mentioned in the rookie symposiums, and they're going to be like, okay, you know, there might be a chance you could do this and get away with it. There might be. But do you want to make $20,000 or do you want to make $2.6 million? And if you want to make $20,000 and possibly get blackballed, go for it. We're probably not gonna be able to stop you, but there's a decent chance you get caught and you're gonna be embarrassed and you're gonna lose out on your livelihood. So in some ways, now they have an example they can point to. So maybe that's going to be a good thing overall for these leagues to send that message.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, to have something that is a very specific example to try and deter future potential, you know, wrongdoers. That's, you know, it's basically the equivalent of, I remember I don't know why this is what came to mind, but when I was in high school, that during going into spring break, they would always put like a crashed car in the senior parking lot as a way of being like, I know you've got a week and you're young and you've got a car and you can drive. remember this, keep this in mind before you go to that party and drink a bunch of beer and try to drive home. So yeah, I mean, if you can basically point to it and be like, this is what could happen to you, just play by the rules. You're making a lot of money.
Right.
Stop trying to make an extra, dinner.
Yeah, it's a powerful message. Drew, I got to ask you, so tell me what's on the shirt, man. I'm loving the shirt. But it says like there's little, what is the shirt?
These are hockey celebrations. This is a Sauce Hockey shirt, which is basically like half of my wardrobe. So this is actually from their partnership with Labatt Blue, and it's just a bunch of different hockey sellies that you can do. So I'll stand up so you can see all like 9 of them there.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
It's a bunch of different varieties, little suggestions that you could, selly on that. If, there's always a bunch of options. I think that, you got the duck hunt one, which is famous. I believe it was Teemu Selanne who tossed his glove up in the air and you take the stick and, shoot it down kind of thing. Hockey sellies are always, amazing. You got I think the Theo Fleury one is on here somewhere, or maybe it isn't because they probably would have to use his name, but the scoring the game-winning goal and then skating all the way across the ice and dropping to your knees to slide 100 feet to celebrate an overtime winner. So, hockey sellies are amazing. I saw the shirt, had it. I've had this for a few years at this point, but, who doesn't love a good hockey selly?
Last question for you, then I'm going to let you go because we're over our time for our break. But we talked about this briefly on the show the other day. And I know this is crazy, and I know it was talked about before and they decided against it. I think they should revisit it. I'd like to see hockey in the Summer Olympics.
In the Summer Olympics?
Yeah. I'd like to see hockey in the Summer Olympics. You don't interrupt the NHL season. There's more eyes on the Summer Olympics. These guys are not sandwiching in, going to play for their country in the middle of it's not only like you're interrupting the season, from the league and a fan standpoint, but you're also not like making these guys be like NHL, go play for the gold. NHL. Like, no, they can go to, USA basketball in a few weeks. They're going to go to a training camp with the only focus being to go to win a gold medal in Paris. Like the hockey team should have the same thing. And I just think, I know it doesn't make sense because it's a winter sport, but just in terms of timing and in terms of the eyeballs and the buzz that it would generate, I'd love to see it move to the Summer Olympics.
See, I think, though, that if you move it to the Summer Olympics in this hypothetical, that it ends up not being the most attractive sport to watch in the Summer Olympics because you have basketball. I agree with you on the training aspect of things, but, it's always fun when the NHL because the NHL will take a month off during the Olympic break in 2 years. But next year, instead of doing an All-Star break, they're actually doing a small Olympic-like tournament, the NHL is, that they're putting together with, I think it's 4 different teams. You got the U.S., Canada, and 2 different European teams that they're doing instead of an all-star break. And that's always fun. I think that hockey has as many eyeballs as you're going to get of any winter Olympic sport, certainly in North America. So I think if you move it to the summer, even just forgetting all of the, oddity of playing ice hockey in the middle of summer in Paris instead of playing it on an ice rink in Utah in January or February, it's no longer, I think it ends up taking a significant backseat to basketball, as opposed to being like the clear cut, at least in my world, sport to watch during the Olympics.
Yeah, well, listen, I think in the Olympics, I don't even think basketball is the number one sport. I mean, I think the numbers for women's gymnastics and for swimming probably blow that away. Anyway, debate for another time. Drew, my friend, good to see you. Thanks for checking in. Enjoy the Vegas heat. Are you going to the game tomorrow night?
I don't have tickets yet, but talking with my girlfriend about it, so maybe we do break out the Knights jersey and hope to extend that series and see how that goes.
I'm pulling for the Knights tomorrow because I'm going to Dallas on Saturday, and I'll be there on Sunday if there's a Game 7. So I would get to go to a Game 7, and we know a Game 7 in an NHL playoff series is about as good as you're going to get. So I'm pulling hard for Vegas tomorrow night, so I hope they're able to win on their home ice.
Yeah, I'm doing the same and adding to that because I have Vegas advancing in my bracket. I've got all but one series so far correct, and I had the other one correct, and I changed it last second for some reason from Winnipeg to Colorado, from Colorado to Winnipeg. So that was on me. But yeah.
All right. Well, love it. Appreciate the time. Drew Goldfarb, dgpicks.com. You can check him out. We're heading for another quick timeout. When we come back, we will open the mailbag on this abbreviated 90-minute edition of LFG that's coming up. Stay with us. We are back in just a minute.
Hey, Waterboy! You're fired!
Okay. To whom it may concern.
Hey! Waterboy!
This will be my last letter. I have arrived here in New Orleans. Who that? Who there? I found a job as a water vendor. It is imperative that you allow me to be your water boy.
I can't hire you. I can't hire you.
I will do it for free. I now have two loves in my life. Water. That is the water that you serve to your place. And football.
Watch where you're going, needle dick. 390. Check. Check.
That's it.
Check.
That's it.
Check.
I want you to visualize all those people that have been mean to you, and I want you to attack.
Needle dick. Needle dick.
I want you to visualize and then attack.
After all of this medulla oblongata.
No, I've seen you on the ESPN. You and me could be partners.
Water sucks. Water
He can hang out with whoever he wants.
Whoever he wants. Except you.
Water sucks. Water sucks. Water sucks.
Coach, my mama wouldn't let me play no football.
You know, when I was your age, my mother told me not to get a tattoo. But what Mama don't know won't hurt her.
Oh, please don't hurt me!
I'm tired of everybody calling me a dummy. Captain Insano shows no mercy. Hope all is well, Robert.
Hey, pal. You ready? Can you pick me up at 6:30? Life can be hard, buddy.
Okay. Oh, I'm so glad I got the car wash. I'm here.
Too late.
I'll go for 5 minutes.
Gotta feed the meter.
What's the meter? Where am I supposed to go? Oh, people. I'm 5. Move it. Killing me. You know what, Dad? I'm good.
That's your cue, Maddie.
Live from the Tickscape Studios. Let's f***ing go.
I can't hear.
I know, but I pointed at you.
I
Were you not watching the camera?
I had another window open.
You don't have
Usually-
the window open.
Usually I rely on, because I got ESPN open. I rely on the audio to but I was trying to.
Yeah, I don't know what happened when Drew, in the middle of we had the issues with we all lost internet, which was really weird. And then when we came back and I was trying to get the internet back on, I hit something that changed my mic input, and I don't know why. So now the mic input that normally I have set, it for some reason it is picking up my actual mic, but it's not picking up. By the way, are you hearing the sound effects? Let me play something quick. Did you hear that? Did you hear Homer? Let's hear it.
No.
Okay. So nothing is going out other than my mic right now. All right. Well, that's not good. Because that's
we gotta play our mailbag. We gotta do all that.
Yeah, I gotta
stuff.
play the mailbag theme.
Oh wait, I just heard Carolyn Peck.
No, but I didn't play that.
As a coach, I say, bitch.
Yeah, that's not me playing that.
Is that
Where's
me?
that coming from?
Sorry, that's me. That's me.
How are you playing that?
Because I had that.
Yeah, but how was it playing? What were you hitting to play that?
It was in my iTunes, and it was the next thing up. And apparently, I pressed the wrong button.
Okay, so Emily says that she's hearing everything appropriately. So everything's going out over the stream, but strangely, you're not hearing. So that's okay. We can do the mailbag still because it's going out on the stream, and that's what matters. So the input is only what you're not hearing. So whatever's going out to you on Riverside is not the same as what's going out on the live stream. So we're good. You're just not hearing it, so we're good. We can move on. It's a Thursday edition. Jim Cosmore with some family obligations today, so he's not on the show. He will be back tomorrow. Matt, you are not on the show tomorrow. You've got a conflict that you need to take care of. So you know what we're going to do? We're ending the show today early in 20 minutes. We're going to do the mailbag here in a second and basically have final thoughts, and we're going to get out of here. But you and I are going to stay in the studio because we're going to record. We're going to record Being Matt's Bookie. Unless you want to record that later tonight when we do, we'll need to record Celebrity MMA as well since you're not going to be on. So we'll record Celebrity MMA. I'll check with Coase what his schedule is. Would you rather record Being Matt's Bookie at the bottom of the hour, or would you rather record it later today when we record Celebrity MMA?
Well, it depends. Let's see. I have a few things to do today, so it depends on when we do it. Whenever, but
I think let's just record it all at once later because then Coase can be a part of it.
All right, sounds good.
So we will record Celebrity MMA and Being Matt's Bookie later on today. All right, and with that, I think it is time for us to – I haven't even read these. Bisa, by the way, you are going to be our third reader today. So let's get Bisa back in here. Bisa will be our third reader for the mailbag today, and I will hit the mailbag theme.
We get letters. We get stacks and stacks of letters.
All right, so it is time for us to open up the mailbag, which is one of my favorite segments on the show. And Matt Fowler, I'm going to give you first crack at it. You can, because I need to find the other theme song here real quick. So Matt, you've got first crack at it. You can read the very first letter to the ChatGPT mailbag, courtesy of Bisa.
Okay. Dear LFG, oh my, holy shit, this letter's long. Dear, what? It is. Dear LFG, this is going to be a while. I hope this letter finds you in good spirits.
Wait, Matt, you can ad-lib, right? You can ad-lib your way out of it to make it a little bit shorter.
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
All right. Dear LFG, I hope this letter finds you in good spirits, plenty of snacks nearby because we might be here a while. So picture this. I'm sitting in my house on my throne, my couch, contemplating the cosmic conundrum known as my career. And yeah, it's one of those days. First off, let's talk essentials. I need a steady support of tacos wherever I go. I need a steady supply. I can't deliver on the taco front. Let's just say I can't do it. No, I'm not doing it. Also, can we install a mini basketball court in every potential office? Just a thought. Now on to serious stuff. Basketball, championships, all those things that I've strived but then lost a bunch when I've gotten there. But have you ever played in front of a crowd that erupts into a frenzy at the sight of your chalk toss? It's a mood, my friend. So championship contention is definitely up there on the priority list. Next up, team chemistry. I need teammates. I'm going to be the boss and just tell the GM who to pick. Next thing. Speaking of celebrations, we can talk about branding. I'm talking Space Jam 3, Return of the Monsters, LeBron's taco truck, maybe even a fragrance line. Got to keep the brand strong. But hey, I'm not all business. I need a city with good vibes, killer coffee spots, talking about you Starbucks, and maybe a few scenics, hiking trails for when I need to clear my head. Oh, and reliable Wi-Fi. Can't not have the Wi-Fi. So in conclusion, LFG, I've got some big decisions to make, but with your expertise and a little bit of LeBron magic, I'm confident we'll find the perfect fit. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some tacos to devour and some jump shots to practice missing in the biggest spots of my career. Your MVP, L. James.
L. James. That's Not really. That was a little bit long. That is a little bit long.
And I ad-libbed. It was longer if I didn't ad-lib.
By the way, we missed a story that happened earlier this week in baseball that Bisa was dialed in on that I did not know about, but Bisa's got the Milwaukee connections. So Bisa, real quick, let's talk about. I'm going to let you read the second letter because I think it has to do with what happened between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Tampa Bay Rays the other night. What happened in that game?
Yeah, so dear LFG crew, let me start off by saying cheese, beer, and fish fries run deep in my veins. So when you mess with any one of those, you're messing with the heart and soul of Wisconsin. Now onto the matter at hand, the big fight. Picture this, it's a crisp summer evening, the scent of brats wafting through the air, and the crack of bats echoes in the distance. Then out of nowhere, chaos ensues. Why, do you ask? Well, let me break it down for you. You see, tensions were high. The cheese curds weren't as squeaky as they should have been. The beer taps are running a little slow, and don't even get me started on the fish fry mix-up. It was the perfect storm of Wisconsin woes. Then in comes Mr. Big Shot from the opposing team with his fancy avocado toast and non-cheese balanced diet. The nerve. He starts talking smack about our beloved cheese, claiming it's overrated. Overrated? In Wisconsin? Them are fighting words. Next thing you know, fists are flying, cheese wheels are rolling, and someone may or may not have been dunked in a vat of beer. It was a scene straight out of a cheese-induced fever dream. But fear not, fellow Wisconsinites, and yes, fellas, Bisa vouch for you as an honorary Wisconsinites, and before you decline, your welcome package comes with a free year of beer, exclusive discounts on our creamy cheeses, free tickets to Summerfest, and all-you-can-eat fish fries every Friday. Where our honor has been defended. We may have lost the game, but we won the battle for cheese supremacy. And remember, when life gives you cheese, make cheese curds or something like that. So let this be a lesson to all. Never underestimate the power of a Wisconsinite with cheese running through their veins. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some samples to taste test. Yours in glory and cheese, P. Murphy.
Pete Murphy, that sounds a lot like Pat Murphy, the manager for the Milwaukee Brewers, who got handed a 2-game suspension for his role in some ejections that happened between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Milwaukee Brewers the other night. I'm assuming that that could be the same P. Murphy. Maybe that's Pat Murphy's brother Phil. I have no idea. Could be his brother. I would imagine that. I don't know if there is a brother Phil, actually, but that could be possible. All right, our final letter today also focuses on Major League Baseball, and it comes to us apparently from an ump. It says, "Dear LFG, as an umpire, I found myself in the eye of the storm more times than I can count. Yet recently, it seems the storm clouds have gathered with unprecedented ferocity, all aimed at yours truly. So I find myself turning to you, seeking guidance on how to navigate these tumultuous waters. Let's address the elephant in the room, the hate. It seems as though everyone and their grandmother has an opinion on my calls, and let's just say they're not all singing my praises. But here's the thing, LFG. I stand by my calls. Sure, I may not always get it right, but who does? We're only human. So here's my game plan. First and foremost, transparency. I'm willing to sit down with anyone who questions my calls and have an open dialogue while I sharpen my knives and have a nice conversation with them. Next, consistency. I'll strive to be the umpire that players, coaches, and fans rely on day in and day out. Sure, I may not be perfect, but even if I get them wrong, at least I'll be consistently bad. And finally, a touch of humor. Let's face it, sometimes you just have to laugh at the absurdity of it all. So I'll sprinkle in a few well-timed jokes and maybe even some self-deprecating humor. In conclusion, I may not be everybody's favorite umpire, but I'm determined to win over the skeptics one call at a time. Yours in umpiring and perseverance, A. Hernandez. Matt Fowler, he's your favorite ump, A. Hernandez. I know you're a big A. Hernandez fan.
Big A. Hernandez fan. If you throw a ball and it's 7 inches out of the strike zone, you know, it might get called a strike.
A. Hernandez is the guy you want to have behind home plate on getaway day. because you are likely to get a very brief game. He's going to be making sure those dinner reservations are not missed. And that's another edition of the LFG mailbag. Are you, Bisa, are you liking ChatGPT? Have you used ChatGPT as a tool besides for our radio show? Have you used that as a college student? I feel like as long as you're not using it to write your papers for you, but if you're using it to maybe assist, like I use ChatGPT when I write something. I had to write a complaint letter earlier this week, and before I sent it in, I sent it into I put it on ChatGPT just to have it basically edit it for typos and phrasing and anything like that. I feel like if you're using it as a tool, then that's a good way to use it.
Yeah, ChatGPT is amazing. I use it for everything. I go in there saying, "Hey, give me like a week worth of dinners that are healthy," and they'll give me a bunch. I'll go on there when I maybe need ideas for like papers I'm writing, like titles, maybe bouncing around some ideas. Like it really is a good tool, like you said, as long as you're not doing it for everything of your work, but it is a good tool.
Yeah, any email that I send, if it's like business related, and I hold myself to a high standard as a writer. But listen, I know I'm not perfect, and sometimes you put something into ChatGPT and it just makes it sound that much cleaner. It's like, oh, yeah, I guess it is scary though. It is scary. All right, Matt Fowler, any final thoughts today on this Thursday as we're gonna wrap up the show and end a little bit early?
I'm digging the abbreviated show. I like it.
Yeah, why? What are your plans? What are you going to do with your extra 39 minutes today?
I don't know. Maybe I'm going to start drinking.
What?
Maybe.
Okay, all right. That's I don't know about that, but
abort mission. What do you mean you don't know about that?
I just played the abort mission map, by the way. Yeah,
okay.
you can't hear it, but that's what I played for you.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know. Maybe I'll just I'll see what's going on.
Dude, you got a whole day in front of you. It's 11:20 a.m. on the West Coast. You got a whole day in front of you. You're going to start drinking on a Thursday? I mean, I get it if you're in Cabo and you're on vacation, but come on, man.
Well, maybe I'm not going to start drinking. I said maybe. Maybe.
All right. Well, I know what I'm doing. I'm heading out to the farmer's market. That's the opposite of drinking. I'm going to get myself a morning bun because after 12 o'clock, the farmer's market only goes from 12 to 1. And after 12 o'clock, they give the morning buns 2 for 1. So I'll get one for tonight, and we're one for now and one for tonight. And I'm going to get my first sweet corn of the season. So there you go. That's an exciting finish to today's show. Tomorrow we'll be back. Celebrity MMA. Coase will be back. We will have Matt on the show via tape. We'll tape it tonight, and we'll have Matt being Matt's bookie. So Matt, you can figure out your wagering stuff for tomorrow. So you won't be completely gone from tomorrow's show. You'll still have a presence.
Yep, that'll be good.
All right, and Bisa, we will see you tomorrow as well. Thanks so much for being a part of the show, everybody. Glad you could join us here on this Thursday edition of LFG. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place with LFG.